Curious, if you lightly brush a feather over your own arm, you feel the texture and the friction perfectly. But if you dig your fingers into your ribs and try to aggressively tickle yourself, the reaction completely falls flat. Mechanically, the physical force is identical. You are stimulating the exact same skin and the exact same nerve endings. Yet somehow, your brain decides to process the light touch and completely reject the aggressive one. That heavy, laughter-inducing type of touch is called gargalesis. Evolutionary biologists trace it back to mammalian play fighting, a reflex meant to train young animals to protect highly vulnerable areas like the ribs and the neck. To work, that attack has to catch the nervous system off guard. If your brain processed every self-generated touch at full volume, you would run into a massive computational hurdle known as the dark room problem. The friction of your clothing, the weight of your own arms, the pressure of your footsteps, the sheer amount of incoming data would paralyze you with sensory noise. To survive the physical world, your brain runs an active, real-time filtering system. It mathematically mutes your own physical actions so you have the cognitive bandwidth to detect the outside world. Every voluntary movement you make starts as an electrical command fired from your motor cortex down to your muscles. But a fraction of a millisecond before your arm actually moves, your brain splits the signal. It sends a carbon copy of the exact movement instructions, called an efference copy, straight to the cerebellum. The cerebellum uses this copy to operate as an internal forward model. It calculates exactly what the physical movement is going to feel like before the sensory data even reaches your spinal cord. When the actual touch arrives, the brain compares it to the prediction. Because the incoming sensory data and the prediction perfectly match, the brain generates an inhibitory signal. It cancels the sensation out. To experience a genuine tickle response, that predictive model has to be tricked or mathematically broken. In 1999, researchers Sarah Jane Blakemore, Chris Frith, and Daniel Wolpert designed an experiment to do exactly that. They built a robotic interface that separated a person's physical hand movement from the resulting touch. When subjects moved their left hand to control a robotic tickler on their right hand with zero delay, the predictive model worked. The subjects rated the sensation as incredibly dull. Then, the researchers secretly altered the software. They introduced microtemporal delays between the subject's active hand movement and the robotic touch. This chart shows the subjective tickle rating against that delay time. You can see the filter break in real time. As the delay stretches to 200 and then 300 milliseconds, the tickle rating climbs significantly. The prediction no longer matched reality, and the subjects suddenly felt ticklish. They tested the same concept with spatial alignment. This chart shows what happened when the robot rotated the angle of the touch away from the direction the person was actually moving their hand. As that trajectory perturbation angle grew from 30 up to 90 degrees, the ticklishness spiked. Your brain does not recognize you by default. It relies on strict alignment in time and space. The moment a touch deviates from the predictive model, the brain assumes someone else is doing it. This predictive filtering is governed by a computational theory in neuroscience known as the free energy principle. The principle states that your brain operates as an active inference engine, constantly generating top-down predictions to minimize surprise and uncertainty in its environment. During a voluntary movement, your brain deliberately reduces the statistical weight, or the precision, of its own sensory feedback. It turns down the volume on expected data to free up cognitive bandwidth for sudden, unpredictable external threats. Which raises a question: what happens when this biological firewall fails? Individuals diagnosed with schizophrenia, or people who score high on a psychological trait called schizotypy, actually can tickle themselves. In these conditions, the nervous system struggles to properly generate or transmit that efference copy when initiating a voluntary action. During silent thought, a healthy brain uses the efference copy to mute its own inner monologue. Without that signal, the brain processes self-generated thoughts as external auditory voices. The exact same error applies to physical movement. If the brain fails to send the predictive warning that you are moving your own arm, the sudden sensory feedback makes it feel like an outside entity is controlling your limbs, a terrifying symptom known as a passivity delusion. The fact that you can't tickle yourself proves your internal filter is working. It is the essential computational boundary keeping your mind anchored, separating what is you from everything else in the universe.